And now, for the final video of the series, Windows cross-compilation. After this is done, you will have a program that can be run on a Windows machine so that you can share your creation with everyone in the world. Now, as I've mentioned several times earlier in this series, this is the hardest part of the whole thing. And there are several ways of going about doing this, just as there are anything else. I'm going to be taking what's probably one of the more reliable routes, which is actually creating a virtual machine that is, only for this task. So we're going to be using a Debian ISO, which I'll give you a download in the description. So we go on ahead. It's very similar to doing the Ubuntu thing that we did in the first video. So new, I'll just call it gitian because we're going to be using the gitian builder, and it's not a Windows VM. So Linux, Debian 64-bit. Next. Memory size. This one, if you really want to give it all the memory you can spare, because the compiler on this is going to need it. I'm going to give mine 4 gigs, and yes, I'm aware that in my first video I did not actually use 4 gigs. Now I will. 4 gigs. Next, create a virtual hard disk now. Create. This default format is fine. Dynamically allocated, and as far as size goes, again, you want to be on the safe side. I'm going to be giving this a whopping 40 gigs. Also, remember that because this is dynamically allocated, it's not going to use that much memory unless it really needs to. If you don't have 40 gigs of free space, just give it all that you can. Create. And there it is. Before we start it up for the first time, I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to give it some more processor cores to try and make the compiler faster. You can do this with just one core. However, if you have the spare CPU cores, it's probably a good idea to give it some more. And also for the network, we're going to configure this so we can actually connect to it using SSH. And if you're on Windows, I recommend using Bitwise as your SSH client. I'll link to it in the description. If you're on OS X, there's actually one built in. But anyway, we prepare for it by going to Advanced over here, Port Forwarding. We're going to press this little button here, name the rule SSH, make the host port 22222, and make the guest port 22. There we are. Okay. Okay. And now we start it. We're going to get prompted for our ISO just like last time. So this is the one we want. And start. Bring this up here. Okay. And we're going to go down to install. Yeah, obviously give it your correct language information. United States, in my case. And let me get rid of these because these are going to just annoy me. American English because I am an American. It's going to go through this phase real quick. Nearly there. Okay. Attempting out of configuration. All that good stuff. Yeah, if you didn't know, Ubuntu is actually based on Debian. So they're very, very similar, but we're using Debian just for fun. Not really, there is a reason. Alright, so make sure the host name is called Debian. The domain name, leave this blank. Root password. So we're going to enter a root password. Make sure you remember this. It is extremely important. I'm just going to be making my password because screw security. Password. Full name for the new user. This really isn't important. I'm just going to call it Debian. And now the username for the account. If I were you, I would name it Debian, and the reason being, I'm not sure if Gitian Builder has changed since the last time I've used it, but it used to be so that if your user was not named Debian, it would not work. So I would once again be on the safe side, call the user Debian, and continue. Make a password. You also need to remember this one. I'll just call it Debian password. Make sure I typed that in right. Okay. Okay. I'm in the Eastern time zone. And okay. So for this bit, guided use entire disk, the default partition, all files in one partition. Finish partitioning, write changes, sounds good. Make sure you hover on over to yes. and it will begin the installation. I will cut until it gets to the next step, and done. When you get to this part, just once again enter yes. Helps if I'm in the VM window. Enter yes. Mirror country, make this your actual country. Use whatever mirror you like. No proxy information. Scanning the mirror, it's going to get everything it needs. Shouldn't take that much longer. Hopefully it doesn't, because I don't want it to annoy me. Alright. I believe we are nearing the end of the install here. Okay, so yes, you want to install grub to the master boot record. That is a good yes. And for this one, go down to the only real option, the VBox hard disk. It'll run the grub thing. After this, it should restart. Yep, it's finishing the installation. Installation complete. Okay, yeah, it's going to restart after this, and it will boot into the new system. Running remove live packages. Come on, I don't want to cut the video again. Please. Please finish removing the live packages. Okay, here we go. Requesting system reboot, and it'll go into this whole fun window. Alright, so this is the grub bootloader. You want to do the default option. It's going to auto-activate for me. There it is. We're going through the whole fun process again. Dev SDA clean. Okay. Alright, now we made it to the almighty Debian login. So you're going to log in as root first. So your login is root, and whatever you made the password. And, haha, you're in. Now we need to make sure that Debian can be accessed from SSH. So we're going to need to manually type this in. Fun, I know, but you will type the following in. Sed I S permit root login dot wildcard permit root login yes apostrophe etc ssh. Ooh, hold on. Yeah, ssh d underscore config, and done. And then we need to reinitialize that. Okay. Oops, that's not right. SSH restart. And now the SSH service is restarted, and now Debian can be accessed from SSH. I will show you how to use the Bitbuys if you've never used it before. And yeah, I'll put the stuff I just entered in a paste bin thing. Granted, you're not going to be able to copy and paste it. It's probably just easier looking at that than it is looking at in the video. Alright, but next step, SSH. To log in using Bitbuys, you will do the following. So here's my little Bitbuys window. And you want to make your host actually localhost because we're operating off a NAT network, and we make the port 22222. Username, we're going to be doing root first because there's actually some more things we need to take care of. Root, and then your root password. Okay, we should be all good to go. And then the windowing is a little weird. I'll try and resize the window. Let's see. It's a little better. And then log in. Yep, accept and save. And okay, a bunch of stuff just popped up. Let me resize real quick. Yep, okay. This should be a little better. And here is the almighty terminal. So this time around, we're going to be copying and pasting a whole lot of stuff. And the good news is, since we're not operating in the VM right now, we can actually do that without any trouble. And yes, yet again, everything I copy and paste in here will be on the paste bin. So first thing we're going to do is copy and paste. 1 minute while I actually copy and paste it myself, because the web browser I'm using is not cooperating. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste this giant thing, and this is going to install some of the dependencies for Gitian, and enter. It'll download it. Oh, and that's going to be a while to download. So while it does that, I'll mention the next step, and the next step is going to be adding the user that we just made as a pseudo user. So that, in our case, that's Debian, and that will give Debian access to all the VM resources that will be required to do the cross compilation. And after that is done, we're going to set up LXC. Oh, well, it's done, so let's just go on and do it. So the first thing we're doing is add user Debian sudo. Done. Okay, and now there's a whole bunch of copy and paste stuff. And you should be able to follow along quite easily with the paste bin. I mean, everything's going to be in there in order. So I'm going to paste this stuff and enter. And this will add this sets the LXC stuff. Okay. And now I'm going to copy and paste a whole bunch of stuff. I know you must be having so much fun watching me copy and paste and copy and paste and enter. It's all copy and pasted. And then the last thing, actually I can't quite copy and paste these because I need to adjust some things, but this one I can copy and paste. There we go. Oh wait, I can't copy and paste that, I lied. So the user in my copying and pasting is actually incorrect. Good for me. Ow, beep. And make sure you make this little bit here your user. I will fix these in the paste bin, don't worry about that. But I'm going to have to change them. And then the next line, paste. Enter. The next bit, last one. You should be able to do these all at once. I just have to do them one at a time because I have the wrong username in here. And enter. And the last thing we do is reboot. Once it's rebooted, make sure you actually log out in Bitwise, because Bitwise, when the connection fails due to the reboot, it's actually going to try and reconnect every so often. So we don't want to log in again as root, so stop that. And now we're going to log in as Debian. Should have changed your password. You can log in. And again, let me correct this. I'll make the terminal window a little easier to see this time. Okay. And now comes the part where we start to get our dependencies. So again, more copying and pasting. We're going to check the we're going to get the VM builder first, and we're going to check it using the command that's here. Okay, that means the this is the correct file. I mean, it's just a good sanity check sort of thing. And then copy and paste yet again. We're going to extract it and install. And you need your password for Debian. With great power comes great responsibility, and I just typed in my password wrong. There we go. Okay. And now we can navigate back a directory like so. And now we're gonna actually get Gitian builder, or yeah, Gitian builder. More copying and pasting. This time we're cloning from Git, however. So we clone from Git, cloning into Gitian builder, done. And now we clone our coin. So I actually forgot to make a copy paste for this. I hopefully remember the URL of my coin. Yeah, if you never used GitHub before, there is a little thing on your repository's main page. You just press it. You can copy the necessary repository URL to get your coin. So yeah, this is what we entered earlier in the Gitian descriptors. There we go. Now I've got Funcoin. Okay, I screwed something up later down the line, as you probably guessed, because of the sudden video cut. So anyway, we left off when we were cloning your coin into Debian. So alright, we're continuing immediately after that. The next thing we're going to do is actually make the base VM for the builder. Now, as you may have guessed, we're actually going to be using a virtual machine within another virtual machine in order to get this silly thing to work. So first thing we have to do is construct said virtual machine, and we will do it using the following commands. First, we have to navigate into the Gitian builder directory. like just like that. And I'm actually not going to run this, but I'll paste it in my terminal window. And for the 99th time, this will all be on the paste bin in the description. You're going to have to rely pretty hard on that, by the way. So here's what you're going to do, and this is going to take a pretty long time to complete actually. And this will create the base VM in the correct format. So I'm just going to delete that. And then after that, you are going to run this in the gitian directory. Again, I'm not going to run. I'm going to paste it because I've already done this. And what this does is it makes a folder called inputs, and it'll take you into that folder when you run it. It'll take less than a second to complete. And then after you're there, I'm going to go into inputs now myself. You're going to run a gigantic assortment of, not really a gigantic, but an assortment of wget commands, which are going to download all of the dependencies that we need. I had to go on a little quest to find all the right versions of these, so I hope you guys are happy. I'm not going to paste them here because that would download them. I already have them downloaded. I'll just drag my cheat sheet window over here real quick. That's below the thing that's highlighted. So all those guys. Like I said, you're going to be relying pretty heavily on that paste bin thingy. So just to do that, yep, here they all are, plus a couple of other things which we're going to generate in a second actually. So we can navigate back. And then the next things we're going to be entering, once again, I'm not going to be entering these myself. I'll just show you them in my cheat sheet. And these are going to compile the dependencies for final use when we finally build our coin. So, real quick, and they are the ones that are below the block of the wgets. Do these one at a time, and also, as always, make sure you press enter after it completes, because remember, this won't be executed automatically. The last one won't be executed automatically if you paste. So do these one at a time, and these will also take a pretty long time to complete actually. So be ready for that. And once those are done, the only thing left to do is actually build your coin. Now, before you can build, though, I kind of lied. There's one more thing you need to make sure you have to do, and that is have a version tagged on GitHub. Now, you can tag a version. Oh, my mic's probably annoying. Okay, you can tag a version by going to GitHub and going to the Releases tab and create new release, and you'll make a tag. Once again, it kind of goes beyond the scope of this tutorial to really cover all the nitty-gritty of GitHub. So if you know, what I just said wasn't descriptive enough for you, which I'm not betting it was, Google how to create a tag in GitHub, because you will need a tag. It's usually V0 point whatever. It's actually, your tag has to start with V. Remember that. And then once you've got all your things built, you've got your version tagged in GitHub, you will enter this in the gitian builder directory. Once again, I'm not running it myself. Now what this does is it actually builds your coin. So this is also going to take a while, as always. And I forgot to mention it for the previous dependency building things, but make sure you change out any occurrence of Funcoin with whatever it is you named your coin. And this is where the tag comes in. So it's going to be your coin equals V 0 point, or just whatever the number you made, whatever your tag is. There has to be a V in it, like I said. So assuming you've done all that right, this will do its this will hopefully compile. Now there is one error that I'm going to mention, and I'm mentioning it because actually when I was testing everything to make sure this would work for you guys, this part of the thing is notoriously finicky. I got an interesting little permission error. I'm going to see if I can. No, I probably can't because this is all crap from when it built. But there's an error you can get. So if the first time you try to compile this and if you get an error, I want you to go and check the debug log, and that is going to be beep. That is going to be, I believe, if I can remember where it is. It's var. I believe it's in here. Yes, the build log. So I'm going to do cat build log because I might be able to find what I'm referring to. Actually, I can't because the last build was successful, unfortunately. Or not unfortunately, that's good. But if you go in here and you say something about the file is called build detect platform, and if you get a problem, and the error message will say something about bad permissions, that probably has something to do with how you created your GitHub repository. And if you do run into that problem, what you have to do is you actually have to change the permissions of that file to 755, and I'll give you a little link I found to help you do that. But anyway, if you get no error, that obviously means it worked. So where is your fancy little, executable? Where's your release package for your coin that you're going to annoy everyone with? Well, I will show you. So there's a little folder in here called builds, and there's another one called out within builds. And if we do ls, we see exes. Exes. We all know exes are what run on Windows, right? If you don't, well, how did you get this far? So this is it. This is the release package. Now, how do I get it off? Well, if you're using Bitwise like you should, or okay, alternatively if you're on OS X, all right, sorry. It comes down to you needing an SFTP client to easily get these things off. For Windows, Bitwise doubles as an SFTP client. For OS X, I would recommend CyberDuck. But let me get my SFTP window from Bitwise real quick. Let me just snag it on over. Okay. So here's the SFTP window that, let me resize the window real quick, that Bitwise has. So you probably saw this pop up if you did use it. And you're going to navigate over to what we just did in the command line. So gitian builder, build out, and here it is. If you want to download the whole release folder, you can just click this, right click it, download, and it will download it to whatever directory you're on over here. I have a whole special thing for this. You can see I already downloaded it. But that's it. And just to show you, here's Funcoin Windows. You can see I already mined with it a little bit using the built-in miner, which does work on Windows too. And you also notice here I do have a connection to the network. That is because I did launch a Funcoin bootstrapping node. So if you do want to play with Funcoin, I am going to upload a release to the GitHub. I'll link to it in the description like everything else. You can play with it to your heart's desire. And also as a heads up, for later versions of Windows, because you didn't sign your binaries here, and code signing, that goes way beyond the scope of this tutorial, and it also costs a couple of $100 to get a certificate, so I'm not going to cover it. There's a chance that Windows Defender is going to pop up a little blue window saying, "Ha! I have stopped some terrible program from destroying your computer," when really they're just ruining all your hopes and dreams. Just bypass it, don't worry. That's probably going to happen. Or alternatively, you could run it as an administrator. That won't make it happen. It's usually not a big deterrent for people, though, because, like I said, it kind of only happens on some versions of Windows. But anyway, if you've gotten this far, congratulations, that's it. Don't get too excited, though. You've basically just made the equivalent of cryptographically secure virtual monopoly money. There's a pretty slim chance your coin will go anywhere. However, it is possible for a coin to go anywhere just because people market it real well. I guess Exhibit A is Dogecoin. But that's it. So some of you might be wondering how to do Litecoin, the current version of Litecoin, and I actually have cloned that in the past. The only reason I am not making a tutorial on doing it right away is because I kind of forgot how to set up the cross compiler for it. Like, I had to go through an amazing quest of let's just say fun to get that thing working, and yeah, I kind of forgot how I did it, so I have to hold off until I remember how for that one to come out. But at any rate, it's been fun. Be sure to share your useless creation in the comments. I kind of want to see what you made. And if you love this tutorial, as is tradition with every project involving cryptocurrencies, I'm going to drop a Bitcoin and Litecoin donation address in the description if you love me. Also, hint, hint, if you have technical problems and need support in the comments, that will make me much more enthusiastic to help. I will see you around.